Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Book of Love podcast with your matchmaker and dating coach, Geneva Dickey. This is a podcast that interviews singles in all stages of singlehood, and we also sit down with experts to discuss dating in today's modern day culture. Today is such a great episode. I just finished up with Saskia, and she owns Hey Saturday, which is in the States and in Europe. And she focuses on online dating photography. That's all she does. And this episode is so jam-packed full of just advice, complete and absolute advice. So give it a full listen. And we are going to have all the details of her in the show notes if you want to learn more. But before we get into today's episode, let's talk about what's going on here at JE Matchmaking. So number one, boot camps. We are in the middle of a women's boot camp right now, but we're going to have a men and women's boot camp coming up this September. Our women's boot camp has been launched for September 7th. So you're welcome to go register for that now. And it is at jematchmaking.com/services. And then, of course, events. So we have a summer party that is July 9th. Women tickets are sold out as per usual, but we still need lots of amazing gentlemen to join. So please go grab your ticket for that. That's going to be 100 singles on the waterfront, a full room of just single people. When was the last time you walked into a room and knew everybody there was single and looking? I don't even know. So definitely go grab your tickets for that now. And then, of course, the Book of Love is on fire. So we're going to be moving into a little bit of a slow season. June, July are really busy, and then August really slows down. But the Book of Love seems to still be on fire right now, which is really exciting. And we're not going to be doing any events in August either, only because so many people are leaving on vacation. But we're going to come back again in the fall, which is cuffing season, y'all. In September, we're going to have lots more events again. But get yourself into the Book of Love, jematchmaking.com/services. And there's lots of updates that are happening at our events or with our events. You know, people are constantly, not able to come to events anymore and spots open up. So if you're not following us on Instagram yet, go to Book of Love Canada on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And that's where you're going to get all of your updates of what's coming up. So let's get into today's episode with Hey Saturday and Saskia. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, Saskia, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me. My first Canadian podcast. I'm very excited.
All the way from Spain and in the middle of a heat wave.
Yeah, it's a bit warm today.
So first I want you to just tell a little bit about you, what you do, and how you got into the industry that you're in. I would love to hear how you got into this very unique industry.
Yeah, so I've been running my business, Hey Saturday, for quite a while now, actually, since 2013, which is probably almost around the same time as Tinder came out. We came out together. And actually, Hey Saturday, dating photos were not a thing at all. As you can imagine, if you picture 2013 on the dating scene, it wasn't a thing. Everyone was using their webcam photos, and it was quite a hideous space, let's say. And I'd done a lot of online dating until I met my partner. So I did about 9 years on and off. Mm-hmm. But I was having a good time, it was great fun. But I was kind of on all the apps, and I had I had high standards, I guess. So I was kind of like, it took a long time to find someone I thought I could definitely do this relationship.
Did you meet your partner online?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah, I live my brand.
Yeah, you do. I met my partner online too, so I live my brand as well. I love it. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think online dating is so exciting because, when people say, oh, I hate online dating, I'm like, oh my God, got this whole world. It's this tool that connects you with other people. It's amazing. And you can connect with anyone in the, in the world or in your neighborhood or whatever. So I find it really, really exciting, and I always have done. And I think I went into dating with that kind of excitement. And so, it's something I've always enjoyed. And so, when I came to set up my own business, I wanted to set up a photography agency, obviously, because I love photography. But I kind of looked out there to see what everyone was doing. And it was everyone was doing weddings, actually, or, kind of events and that sort of thing. And what I noticed when I was kind of deciding what to do is everyone asked me, are you going to be a wedding photographer? And I was just like, no. I didn't know anything about weddings. I wasn't really into getting married. Although, I'm getting married this year, so finally I'm into it. But, it just wasn't my vibe at all. But that question was really helpful because I heard it so many times. It made me think, well, what am I into? I've been like, my equivalent would be online dating. Like, I've done that for so long. So no, I'm not into weddings, but I know a lot about online dating. And so that was kind of the seed of it. It was that question that people kept asking me that made me kind of go to online dating. And then my background was kind of I'd worked in the comms department at Sky TV. And so the way they market themselves is incredible. I still think they're one of the most, they're quite powerful. The way they market is amazing. So I learned a lot just working in their environment. And the way they market something is they choose like one really strong, powerful, colourful image, and they blow it up to massive size. And then they might have 3 words like at the bottom, really small, like believe in better or whatever. And I just thought, wow, like that's how you market something. That's how you get people's attention. A really strong, bold, well shot, interesting, intriguing, compelling image. And then, some words to go with it that no one bothers to read, or they might, but it's like the words like support the image and they're really like kind of pithy and get to the point. And so it was from that experience of kind of working in that environment that when I was thinking about setting up in business and I'm thinking about dating photos, my brain goes, hang on a minute. Imagine if you had a dating profile actually that just shows really strong, powerful, colourful, bold images that are really compelling and emotionally compelling and, kind of visually compelling as well. Like how incredible that would be. And so I kind of looked and no one else was doing it. So I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go because I think this has got legs. And I think that, you could completely transform your dating experience by giving your photos an uplift. And I guess because I was coming from a visual background and because like photography is my medium, I could see that connection. I kind of just knew that I was onto something. And then when I started speaking to single people that this was my idea, they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love it. When I spoke to married people, they didn't get it at all. And I was like, yeah, you probably won't. That's probably a good thing that you're not on the apps and you don't understand. But yeah, single people were just like, oh my God, Saskia, that is just genius. So yeah, that's what I specialized in. And that's pretty much all we do. And yeah, I kind of started in London and then it expanded to cities around the UK. And then in 2015, I was networked in with lots of American dating experts and matchmakers. As you can imagine, social media helps with that. So they're all like, you need to be over in America. We need you over there. No one is doing this. So then I kind of expanded over to there and I'm in LA and New York and Austin. So yeah, it's great. We haven't come to Canada yet. I've been asked by dating experts actually, but yeah, we've not done that yet. But yeah, and so it's just really kind of, yeah, it's that's all we do. We specialize in it and people can book online and it's a really simple process. And it's just, yeah, we've literally had thousands of people through our books in those however many years, 9 years, I think.
And I have no doubt, like, I'm not surprised because number one, when I saw your Instagram, it was striking in the least just based on the colors that you were using and the bold marketing that was there. But then I realized it was for dating profiles and I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius. Okay, so based on some before and afters of people that you worked with, what are some of the feedback you get from people that had their before profile to after working with you, the results that they would get?
Yeah, so I mean, we've had everything from so I had like one guy was like, oh my God, I've got a complaint. And I'm like, oh my God, what is it? And he goes, too much action. Like in 24 hours, my profile's just gone ridiculous. So we get like, guys are quite simple about their feedback, I suppose. So that's the kind of feedback we might get from guys. And then we get women who are like, oh my God, I connected with this guy and it's amazing. And now he said it was because of my photo, because my age didn't really appeal to it, and this sort of thing. And so, yeah, people are just really kind of using them to get out there and get more dates, because obviously if you're using good quality images, you're going to start attracting more attention to your profile, without doubt. So I think it's about attracting that attention and getting more connections with people, but also more meaningful connections as well. So people are finding that they're getting better quality people because The way that we're doing the photos is we're trying to get people to communicate a bit about who they are. Like you said, with how you use color, that's like eye-catching color is such a simple, easy way to do it. Add some red, wear some red, put some red in the background. Simple tip. And that will start, people love the color red. It's biological. We're attracted to it. We think we're falling in love when we see red because it makes your heart beat faster. So there's so many reasons why red or other eye-catching colors like orange, yellow or whatever, if you include that, you'll start getting more attention. So people are starting to get more attention. But then, the more you can put your personality into it, like tell people a little bit about who you are, paint a picture of who you are. So we kind of see our photos as a set. We say to clients, you need a set of 5 to 6 photos at any one time. And that set needs to work hard for you. And it needs to tell people at a glance, a really quick glance, because that's all you have. You have a matter of seconds on dating apps. So it needs to tell people a lot about who you are and what you're about. And you can do that visually, like quite easily, really, if you think about it, if you can think more visually. So, for example, if it was me, I might have some boxing gloves in it. I might have, me wrapping my hands, or I might have like my sketchbook or my iPad, actually, and be drawing on my iPad because I love creating imagery, illustrations on my iPad. I might wear a jumper with the word love on it, which I do a lot because that's my industry. That's what I do. But, also love is a really important thing to me. So, you can easily just wear something that says what you want it to say. And that all adds to it, Mm-hmm. And if you have like a talking point picture, that's always really amazing as well. Because if you get people, you want people to be able to find ways to jump into your DMs, and if all your photos are quite bland, then it's really hard for them. They're like, hey, with 5 Ys, that's all they can think to say. But if you have something with I don't know, you're into martial arts, or you've got a yoga mat with you or something that you're giving them to ask you about, then you're making it easy for them to connect with you. It could be a really obscure favorite book, and people will be like, oh, what's that? Or someone might be, oh my God, that's my favorite book. So as simple as that can become a talking point photo for you. And you're giving people reasons to get in touch, which is one of the biggest hurdles as well, is getting people to think of something to say to you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's a lot of blocks with my clients specifically, because they take the selfies, they get the friends to take the pictures, and they're like, all I need to do is communicate what I look like, right? But I truly think the composition of the photos, the quality of the photos, it's almost like that is just as important as showing who you are. I don't know if it's an amount of effort that you're putting into it. I don't know why it is, but when people have really high quality, well taken pictures that, like you said, communicate what they enjoy to do and communicate not only what they look like, but their energy. Now, that's one thing that I really want to communicate. Now, why do you think it is that there's a disconnect from, communicating what we're looking like in pictures to communicating who we are? Like, why do you think it's hard for people to kind of understand that?
I think the reason for that, and that's a really good question, actually, because it's something that I've struggled with over the years, but the reason for that is that us photographers can't get that out of people just on our own. You kind of need clients to do a little bit of inner work, or a lot of inner work, ideally, before they come to their shoot. And by that, I mean, so for example, we have like a pre-shoot questionnaire. So all our clients have to answer this questionnaire because we need them to stop before they go to their shoot, is just stop and think about what they want their photos to say and how they're going to show up. So, and most people are really busy, and they've got work, and they're like, oh, when's my shoot? Oh, it's on Tuesday, right? Okay. And life's busy, and I'll deal with that on Tuesday morning, and we're like, whoa. Okay, let's take 5 minutes, let's take 10 minutes, and let's do some work first so that you get in your head in the space. So we ask them things like, what's inspiring you right now? Because that's really good to help people pinpoint some of their passions and interests that are going on right now. We ask them what they love about themselves. That's really important. You need to start thinking about, why am I so cool? Why am I so great? And, people have problems answering that. And that breaks my heart when they come back to me and they go, I'm really struggling with these questions. Are you ready to date? I think to myself, if you're struggling with that, you need to be loving yourself on some level to show up in front of the camera and be firing on all cylinders. We ask them, a really important one is we ask them, what is it about you that makes you stand out from other people? So standing out on your dating app profile is obviously really important, because everyone tends to do that thing where they kind of just all write the same thing. They all post the same kind of photos, then with their mates and then, with their cat or whatever. So you really need your photos to stand out. This is the time in your life when you need to show why you're different to other people, what makes you special, what makes you unique, what's your superpower, what's your secret sauce, And for a lot of people that, that again can be, I think people aren't expecting the kind of questions they get when they get our pre-shoot questionnaire. So it really makes them go, whoa, okay, right. I need to put some time and effort into this. And then it's kind of, they start to think, well, why am I different? Okay, well, I'm really passionate about, skateboarding or surfing for our LA clients, or, reading, or, whatever. And they kind of starting to write down and communicate the things that are important to them, the things that passionate about, what they love about themselves. They're getting all these ideas together. We ask them about like what their music taste is and what they're reading, because that helps us get an overall picture of who we're going to get. Our clients can literally be anybody. We have from 18-year-olds to 80-year-olds, and that's no lie. All nationalities, all religions. So it can literally be anybody. So these questionnaires really help our photographers as well, know who they're going to meet. And so, it's kind of a case of figuring out, doing some inner work and going, writing down what is it about me that makes me special? What is it about me that makes me stand out? Are you creative? Are you a musician? Are you, what is it about you? And it could just be that you love reading. Great. Well, bring your favorite books along, include them in your shoot. And so, we get them to think about that. And I think once people start to do that inner work and preferably write things down, because I think it always helps when you just write it down. So we get them all to write it and they send it to us. And it just helps them start to think how they can visually represent themselves. And it's not always easy and it's a challenge, but it's at least by starting that process of inner work, they will hopefully then get in the space to be able to come with the right energy. And energy is such a good word, because it is like when you show up with the right energy, your photos are going to be amazing. Like cameras reflect back the energy that you bring. And one of the things that is really important to us as well is that our photos kind of show joy. And I think when you go onto our Instagram or, our Reels or our website, you can see that a lot of the clients they look like they're having a great life. They look like their life is, pretty damn fine, actually. Mm-hmm. But, and what we want our photos to say is like, my life's great, but it'd be even better with you in it. And I think if people aren't feeling great about their life, or, at least kind of content or happy in some way with their life, then I think maybe they're not ready for a photo shoot, and maybe they're not ready to date, because I think it's really hard, and as you know, to date from a space, from a place where you're just not really feeling it, because you're not going to connect with the right person. It's just not going to happen. So it's really important. And so we try and get our clients to come to the shoot ready to experiment, have a laugh. It's a really weird thing you're doing. We accept that. We're like, yep, this is weird. We do all our shoots on the streets. We haven't got a studio because that wouldn't work for dating photos. They're all taken out in the environment. Like Soho, New York City, we've got like 4 shoots happening tomorrow there. So they're out and about in the street, and for them it's like, obviously, like, this is weird. I've never had a photo shoot. I'm on the streets of Soho in New York. What is going on? But we kind of encourage them to come with a experimental mindset. Let's give this a go. I'm in a good space. Life's good. And our photographers are all so amazing. They're all women, and they're all the kind of women you just want to have a chinwag with, like, have a laugh. You can just, like, they're just fun, and they love their jobs as well. They love shooting. So it's just everyone in our photos just looks like they're having a good time. You arrive nervous, and then through the process very quickly, like loads of people message afterwards going, I was dreading this photo shoot, and then I'm like, now I think I want someone to follow me all day long every day because I love it. They kind of start, it's become such a fun experience.
Well,
So
I
that,
wanted to
yeah.
ask you because you brought up energy a lot. And a lot of the things that I get when I ask a client to go get, some professional photos taken or something like that, they're like, oh, well, I need new headshots for my business or my career anyhow. So yeah, we'll just go in and then we'll take some dating shots as well. And I was like, no, you have to do the professional shoot completely separately on a different day, everything, than the dating shoot. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely do. Yeah. I mean, if you want to get a great set of either business or dating, then you absolutely should do two separate shoots. That said, we do get people who request both because time and money, but mainly money, it's expensive to have two shoots. So, we would, like with our largest package, say what you can do, it's a 90-minute package, is you arrive dressed for business, channeling that. And then we take a break after 20 minutes, whatever. And then you have a little break, revamp, shake it off, go and put your hot first date outfit on, shake it out, and then let's do it. But it's not my ideal. It's not something that I think is a great, if you can afford to do two separate shoots, then absolutely. It's about the energy, and it's quite hard to switch from business to pleasure, as we know.
Yeah, I agree. So now, do you ever have people that have filled out the survey and then they decide, gosh, you know what, I'm not ready to date, and they kind of cancel the shoot, or they, take that little bit more time to reflect?
Yeah, it has happened. And sometimes it might be my urging, because if they come back to me and they're like, oh gosh, do I have to fill this in? This is really hard. Then I'll start up a dialogue with them and say, what's hard about it? Why are you struggling? So yeah, I would definitely encourage them to postpone or cancel, and people have, because some people will want to do it anyway, and that's fine. I get that. But and there are some people who don't want to showcase their kind of, show up with their authentic self. They really struggle. Everyone's different and everyone's at a different space in their life. And I don't want to judge anyone, but obviously I do everything I can to encourage people, like to say, you will get more meaningful and more matches if you come having done some inner work and feeling happy about yourself. But yeah, when I get occasionally long emails and people are not in a great space, I will always say, I don't think you're ready. But I think working with a dating coach would be your next step before coming here. And so, yeah, I do that because I just don't want people to waste their kind of time and money, really. But yeah, there are always going to be people who just see dating photos as the visual side, even though our welcome pack and our website, we're kind of going on about the visual needs to be connected with the emotional kind of side. You need to bring your emotional side. We can't just focus on the visual. But for some people, that's what they want. That's all they're willing to give of themselves, I suppose. And I think, yeah, that. I can lay it out as much as I can, and if they don't want to kind of cancel, then we will do it. Now, but I just think you're missing a trip.
Does your service also include, so you do photos, you guys also include an online dating audit where you help them set up their profile, or are you just photos?
We're just photos. It's busy enough. So yeah, I like to do one thing and do it really well. That's when I set up a business. All the other photographers were doing events and weddings and, kind of babies and marriage and blah. And I was like, I'm going to do one thing and do that well. And that is going to be my thing. And so, that's what we do. Yeah. So, yeah. And there's so many other people they can go to for help with written stuff, whereas there aren't that many photographers. So I kind of just focus down on that.
Agree. Okay, so if you probably have seen a lot of online dating profiles, though, if they're going to come into you for new ones, right? So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see with people's existing profiles prior to coming to you?
So the one that that's really not dangerous, but damaging is the word I'm looking for. The one that's really damaging is when people are using photos that don't look anything like they actually are right now. And so that is one of the biggest things we see, I suppose. Well, it is quite a common one, but it's the most damaging, I think. And the good thing is they are then coming to us to put it right, because when you have a photo that doesn't represent what you look like right now, you're not going to get a second date. because I think it was eHarmony did the research, but they didn't really need to, but they did research that said the biggest thing that stops you getting a second date is photos that don't look like you look right now, because obviously people feel deceived, and they feel, you go on a date because you want to build a relationship with someone. It needs to be based on trust. And if that person arrives and before they've even sat down and got a drink, they look nothing like the photo that you were presented with, then they are, they feel deceived. So, they don't want to go. It doesn't matter how amazing you are after that point, it's not going to work. So, it's really important to keep your photos updated and refreshed and looking like you look like now. So it needs to be within, depending on how old you are, like 4 years to 18 months. And like, obviously the older you get, the shorter the time span between, you need to keep your photos refreshed fairly regularly. And I would say like group photos are something that really bugs me like so hard. I think I do lots of reels about group photos, but I really don't like group photos. It's such a waste of like your kind of 5 to 6 photos, telling this story about you, are like your kind of premium advertising space. Why are you going to waste one of those powerful shots with with a photo of you and a bunch of random friends? Like, I know you want to tell people that you're sociable, but most people assume people have friends. You don't really need to, you don't need to waste up one of your precious spots or photo spots, like showing people who your friends are. And it can go wrong. It can go so wrong. Like, people can look at your friends and go, oh my God, I don't want to hang out with those people. Yeah. Or they might spend 10 minutes going, God, I really fancy their mate. Like, what an absolute waste. You're just putting obstacles in the way. So when people show me their group shots, they always do that because they send us photos before their photo shoot, so we get an idea of photos of them that they like. We ask for that, so we get an idea of and photos they're using at the time on apps, and they always send group shots, and I'm like, why? Anyway, don't use them when you get your new photos is my advice to them. But it's just a waste of a shot, basically. Yeah. And then the other thing that people do, obviously, and quite a lot, is still using low quality images, which is it makes no sense. Like, we're living in the Instagram world, like, good quality is everywhere. It's a visual world. We're all craving a richer visual experience. Why would you waste this opportunity? Because high quality photos attract high vibe people. Low quality photos attract hookups, because people are going to look at low quality shots and go, that person doesn't value themselves, they don't value their time, they don't value this process, they're not valuing the whole relationship thing, so therefore I'm not going to go there. And I always say to people, like, if you were trying to buy a pair of trainers online, and there's one website with these really gorgeous photos of them, they're well lit, they're beautiful, amazing quality, the trainers look beautiful, and then you've got the same trainers but maybe even cheaper, you don't know, and they're on a really, really rubbish looking website. The photos are dark, they're dreary, they're low quality. I mean, you know which shop you're going to go to. You're attracted to the one with the good quality photos. It's like in us. It's not like, and sometimes people get like, I've had blokes like messaging me kind of going, it's people like you that make the world so superficial, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, mate, I'm not doing anything. It's the human brain is attracted to good quality photos. This is not me telling people. I don't have that kind of power. This is literally how our brains are wired. We are visually attracted to strong, compelling, beautiful shots. So when people, I mean, a lot of our clients have poor quality photos because that's why they're coming to us. So I see a lot of them. And I think the biggest things about not just the quality of the photo, but it's like you were talking about the composition earlier. And, so they might be like in the shot, like, but not in the center, and then there's some, like, I don't know, massive sign or a dustbin or something, or what do you call it over there, trash can, positioned that seems to have more space than them, and you're like, no, your eye is drawn to the trash can before it's drawn to your face.
I can feel the frustration in your voice. Oh my gosh, I can feel it, visceral.
I know. I just wish sometimes that people would look at their own photos the way they look at others.
Yes.
You know, because they know when they're looking at others, they're judging them all the time. Yeah, you know. But when you look at your own, suddenly you can't see anything. You're just like, oh, my photos are fine, they'll do. And yet, as soon as you look at someone else's, you're like, oh my God, look at that. You know,
It's
it makes
so
no
true.
sense. Look at your own photos as if you were like interested in dating you, and then see what you think.
Yeah.
You know, and
that's such a good point. Okay, so I have another question for you too.
And I've just got one other thing on that as well is so when people are looking at your set of photos, they always look for the best photo, obviously, and it's really good if that can be at least the primary shot or near enough. But no, they don't only just look for the best photo. They scan all your photos. If they like the look of you from the best one, they scan all your photos to find the worst one, okay? We all do it. You may not realize this, but this is exactly what's happening. And you'll do it when you go onto dating apps. You look at the best and then you're like, right, where's the worst one? I need to see what they look like at the worst. And it's that worst photo that makes people decide whether to connect with you or not. So I always tell my clients, like, if you're choosing photos to put on your site, and there's a photo, you know, because we get them to add, like, maybe have 4 Hey Saturday photos and then maybe 1 or 2 of their own. But I'm always like, do not choose one that you're kind of like on the fence, not really sure, but I'll throw it in there anyway. No, because that could be the photo that people look at and go, yeah, no, I'm not messaging them. So always be like 100% behind every single photo and know that you've chosen well. And then that way you're not giving them reasons to kind of not connect with you. So yeah, I just wanted to share that as well.
No, I'm really glad that you shared that because it's so true. And I do have clients that, especially women, that they really heavily focus on having several makeup-less pictures just so that they don't quote unquote catfish, which is the men saying, you know, you guys all have this makeup on and you're catfishing. And so they really sometimes try to take one of the worst photos of themselves so that they can show what they look like, you know, at home on a Sunday morning, whatever. And I'm like, no.
You don't need to do that. Save that for 6 months down the line.
They need to earn that messiness, okay? They got to know you for 3 months before they even see that anyhow. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's fairly, that is, to me, I think when you creating your profile, you need to think about how you are when you start dating someone in those first couple of weeks. That is the person you need to be showing on dating apps. You don't want to fast forward and start showing the person you are 6 months down the line in your sweatpants watching Netflix. You don't need a photo of you doing that. Everyone knows that after you get through the honeymoon period, everyone starts to relax and their clothes get messier and stuff. But we don't need to see that on your dating profile. Mm-hmm. Everyone's aspirational. It's important to be aspirational. Obviously, catfishing is not worth doing. But I think it's just what we kind of say in terms of makeup and things like that. We say, well, how would you show up on a first date? Like, that is the level of what you should be, presenting. Mm-hmm. So if, don't go and have a makeover that makes you look like something out of, the front page of Vogue. Mm-hmm. And you've spent all this money and had this amazing makeup. If you can't show up like that on the first few dates, because then that's catfishing. Yeah. But if you just dress for your photo shoots mm-hmm. as you would for your hot first date, then that's not catfishing, because you're representing yourself as you would when you turn up. Mm-hmm. And I think at that stage everyone usually is kind of excited for a dating and will get dressed up and will get the makeup on. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you don't need to do anything too drastic with your makeup. Everyone knows that times as time goes by we all get sloppier and don't do the washing up and sit around in sweatpants. We don't need to see that. Nobody talks about that on their profile, really. It's not the space for that. And also, plenty of time for that.
Lighting, the proper lighting and the proper, you could have no makeup on or just minimal makeup, but the proper lighting really kind of still shows how beautiful you are. There's lots of women out there that don't wear makeup, right? So, yeah. But to purposely make it look sloppy, it just kind of drives me crazy. So I'm glad we covered that.
No, that's not authentic. Yeah.
No, it's not. Exactly. So we were actually going to go through some volunteer profiles, but honestly, I think I'm going to skip that because I think it would devalue all of the great advice that you have already given. So I think we're going to skip that. And those that volunteered, I'm going to do a little review of your profile separately so that because you were brave enough to volunteer it for us. But I do want to talk about...
Well done to them.
Well done to them, right? But I don't want to devalue everything that you've just said by going through something like that. But can you tell everybody how they can work with Hey Saturday, how they can find you? And if they can't work with you geographically, what would be the next steps?
Yeah, so, you can find us at heysaturday.co on the web and also on Instagram. So, and you can book online. Our shoots are really easy. However, if you're not in one of our cities and if you're listening in Canada, you won't be able to book us. I think some of the things I was saying earlier about personality and sitting down, if you're going to work with a photographer who's like a portrait photographer, I think it's really important to communicate with them that this is specifically for dating first. And then I would think about how to personalize it, how to bring your personality. What's your dating personal brand, if you like? And hopefully, I would suggest you maybe you work with a personal branding photographer because they're going to understand this kind of storytelling element. And even though they usually do that for business, if you can kind of say to them, okay, this is personal branding, but it's for dating.
Such a good idea.
I want to tell my story, but about who I am, but like me, the relaxed, going out, hanging out with my friends, being on dates, that kind of version of me. And then if you think that your dating photos are a set that are telling people a lot about you, the way you could approach it is imagine I've got this perfect weekend of dating happening, or I'm seeing someone. How would my weekend go? So it might be, the hot first date or the hot second date, what you wear for that. It might be the Sunday brunch, that date. Maybe you're going to gallery or having Sunday lunch. What would you wear for that date? So you can plan your outfit that way. So think about all the things that you like doing, what you like wearing, and what you'd wear in those different circumstances. Sporty photos actually are something like 75%, like more attract more attention on dating apps. So if you're into any kind of sport, like cycling, running, boxing, whatever, I was going to say swimming, a bit tricky, but anything that can be visually represented, bring it along, show it. So just really think about what is it that makes you stand out? How do I like to spend my time? And how can I show up? And actually, I've got a free guide on my website, so people can, if you go, there's a little box at the bottom, and you can just put your email address in, and it will email you my free guide, which is basically how to create great photos if you don't have access to a dating photographer. So it will actually answer all those questions.
Well, I'm going to put that in the show notes for everybody. So if you're listening to this, go check out the show notes, because we're going to have that link to her website in there. But thank you so much for giving me your time and sharing all of this amazing knowledge. When you come to Canada, let me know, because I'll have a lineup of clients for you, just so you know.
That's fantastic. I will look forward to that.
And thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And wasn't that full of so much amazing advice? I can't get over it that she just gave that all out for free, but go check out her free guide. We have the link to her website in my bio, along with all of her social tags. So if you didn't catch that, feel free to go check that out in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you use, and leave a 5-star rating. And of course, leave a review. So if this was impactful for you, reviews are really what makes people know, when they're looking for a podcast to listen to, that this is a worthwhile podcast to listen to. So please take 35 seconds out of your day and just go click the 5-star button or leave a quick little worded review. And I would love you till the end of time. And then of course, share. Is anybody having a hard time and they're telling you, your friends or family or brother or sister are telling you that they're not getting any matches online or no quality matches online? This is the episode you need to share with them. This is the only way. I know it's so funny, because if our friends and family are coming to us saying that, we so badly want to help, but we don't know. Most people don't know unless it's the professional. So if they're having a hard time, this is the episode to share, because it will change their experience online dating big time. So of course, share. And then follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Book of Love Canada. We've changed our name. We're going to be rebranding here soon. But thank you so much for joining us, and I'm so excited to open the Book of Love with all of you.